Hey, you guys, welcome back to another week of the podcast. I want to talk about something today that I think a lot of women are quietly carrying this feeling of, why am I still struggling? Like you're trying, you're praying, you're listening to things like this, you're trying to think differently, show up better, and be more patient. And somehow you still feel overwhelmed, stuck, emotionally drained, or even disconnected from God. And that can be really confusing because part of you probably feels like, shouldn't all of this be working by now? So today I want to give you something a little different than we've done in the past. Not more things to do, not more ways to fix yourself, but five truths about your mental health that can completely change how healing starts to feel for you. Because most of the women I work with, it's not that they're doing something wrong, it's that no one ever explained how your mind actually works. So let's dive in. Truth number one is that your brain is really trying to protect you, it's not out to get you. When your thoughts are racing, when you're overthinking everything, and when you can't turn it off, that's your brain trying to keep you safe. And the reason it does that is because your brain is wired to look for problems. It's constantly asking, what could go wrong? What did I miss? How do I prevent pain, rejection, or failure? Because to your brain, it's better to overthink than to be caught off guard. So it's constantly scanning for things that feel uncertain, unresolved, important, or emotional, and then it holds on to it. And that's why your brain will replay conversations or go over decisions again and again, or keep bringing things back up when you're trying to move on. It's not trying to stress you out. It's trying to say, hey, this matters. Let's make sure we handle this in a way that we all stay safe here, right? The problem is your brain doesn't always know the difference between actual danger and emotional discomfort. So it treats things like what someone thought about you, whether you made the right decision, or how something is going to turn out, like they're urgent and need to be solved right now. And that's where it becomes overprotective for you. So instead of assuming something is wrong with you, you can start seeing it as, oh, my brain thinks this matters a lot. And when you see it that way, you stop fighting your thoughts so much. And this helps your brain settle down faster because feeling safe is what tells your brain it doesn't have to keep sounding the alarm. Okay, truth number two. Feeling overwhelmed doesn't mean you're failing. A lot of you think overwhelmed means I'm not handling this well or I should be doing better, but overwhelm is actually your system saying this is too much. I've been carrying too much for too long and I don't have enough support right now. And if you really look at your life, you're mentally tracking everything. You're emotionally holding space for everyone and trying to show up in your faith, your family, your responsibilities all at the same time. So, of course, you feel overwhelmed. That doesn't mean you're failing, though. It means your capacity has been exceeded. And healing begins when you stop judging overwhelm and start responding to it. So, most of us have this automatic reaction when we feel overwhelmed. We don't just feel it, we immediately judge it. We think, I shouldn't feel this way, or other people can handle this more than I can, or better than I can, or I just need to get it together. And what those thoughts do is add a second layer on top of the overwhelm. So now you're not just overwhelmed, you're overwhelmed and feeling like you're doing something wrong. And that creates more pressure, more tension, more mental noise, and it actually makes the overwhelm stronger. Responding is completely different. Responding sounds like, okay, this makes sense. This is a lot right now. No wonder my system feels maxed out. It removes the shame. And when the shame goes down, your nervous system can start to settle instead of ramp up. But responding also means you do something different next time. Instead of pushing through or criticizing yourself, you ask, what would help me feel even 10% more supported right now? Not fix everything, not solve your whole life, just Do I need a pause? Do I need to take one thing off my plate right now? Do I need to ask for help? Do I need to slow down my thoughts for maybe just a minute? Because overwhelm is not a sign to push harder, it's a signal to adjust. So the shift looks like this: judging says, I shouldn't feel this way, try harder. And responding says, this makes sense. What do I need to do right now? And that shift is where healing can start because you move from fighting yourself to actually supporting yourself. Okay, truth number three: your thoughts are not always true. Your brain is constantly producing thoughts all day long. And some of them can feel very real, especially the ones that sound like, I'm not doing enough, or I should be better, or this is all on me. And most of us don't question those thoughts. We just believe them, including me. As a therapist, I still have that and I still struggle with that. But here's the problem: your brain doesn't produce thoughts based on truth. It produces thoughts based on fear, habit, past experiences, and what it's trying to protect you from. So, if your brain is trying to protect you from failure, it's going to give you thoughts that push you harder. If it's trying to protect you from rejection, it's going to overanalyze everything you said. If it's trying to protect you from uncertainty, it's going to keep bringing things back up so you don't miss something. So the goal is not to get rid of your thoughts. That's really not realistic, right? The shift is to stop automatically believing them. Because right now, what most women are doing is this: they have a thought and they immediately react to it. They feel it, they believe it, they let it shape how they show up. But healing starts when you create a little space. When instead of this is true, you start to notice, oh, I'm having the thought that this is true. And that tiny bit of space changes everything because now you're not inside that thought. You're observing it. And when you're observing it, you get to choose. Do I want to keep following this? Is this actually helpful right now? And that's how you start to feel less controlled by your mind and more steady inside of it. Okay, truth number four: you don't need more time, you just need the right tools. A lot of women feel stuck here because they think, I know I need to work on myself, I just don't have the time. And when life is full, that feels very true. But here's what I want you to see: your mental health is not shaped in big, perfect moments, it's shaped in the small moments that happen all day long. When your thoughts start to spiral, you feel triggered, you get overwhelmed, you start shutting down. And that's where everything is happening and you don't have the tools for those moments. You default to your past patterns, you overthink, you push through, you shut down, and maybe you get reactive. Not because you want to, but because your brain is just doing what it knows. So healing doesn't require more time, it requires something you can use in the moment. Something that helps you pause, slow your thoughts, settle your body, shift what's happening internally. Because when you can change what's happening in those small moments, you start to change your whole experience of your life. So instead of thinking, I need more time, you can start asking, what would help me in this moment that this thing is happening to me? That's where real change begins. Okay, truth number five: feeling disconnected from God is often mental noise, not spiritual failure. I want you to hear this one because I know many of you carry this quietly. You feel distracted, your mind is busy all the time. You try to slow down, but you can't stay focused. And then the thought comes in, what's wrong with me spiritually? But what I see over and over again is not that God isn't there, it's that your mind is full. Your thoughts are constant. Your nervous system is overwhelmed. Your attention is being pulled in 100 different directions. And when your internal world feels that loud, it's really hard to recognize a voice that's still and small, right? So, what most women do is that they try harder spiritually. They pray more, they read more, they push themselves more, but they're doing it in a system that's already overwhelmed. So instead of asking, why can't I feel him? A more helpful question is, what's getting in the way of me noticing him? A lot of times, it's not sin, it's not a lack of faith, it's mental and emotional noise. And when you start to calm that noise even a little bit, you don't have to force connection. You start to feel, you feel peace, you feel clarity, you feel more subtle impressions. And that's when you realize God was there the whole time. Your mind was just too loud to recognize it. Okay, I just want you to pause for a second and notice something. None of what we talked about today is trying to tell you to try harder. It's not be more disciplined, be more faithful, fix yourself faster. It's helping you understand why your mind does what it does, why you feel the way you feel, and why healing hasn't worked the way you hoped it would yet. And a lot of you just understanding this really brings maybe a bit of relief like, okay, that actually makes sense now, right? But here's the piece most women are missing. Understanding really, it's the beginning, right? But it's not the whole process because tomorrow your mind is still going to race. You're still going to feel overwhelmed in moments. Old patterns are still going to show up. And in those moments, you don't need more information. You need something you can actually do, something simple, something that actually helps you calm the noise, process what you're feeling, and come back to a place that feels more steady. So, I created something that is for the month of May, and it's called the May You Heal Challenge. This isn't about overhauling your life. It's not about adding more to your already full plate. It's about giving you small, simple ways to work with your mind instead of constantly feeling like you're fighting it. You're going to learn to process what you've been carrying instead of pushing it down and start to feel relief in the actual everyday life because I know your life is busy. So, everything inside of this May You Heal challenge is designed to be simple, practical, and something you can actually use in real moments. When your thoughts start spiraling, when emotions hit, when you feel overwhelmed again. So, if you've been feeling stuck or overwhelmed, or like you're trying hard, but it's just not quite working for you, I just want you to know first of all, it makes sense, and you don't have to figure it out on your own. I'm going to walk you through it step by step in the May You Heal challenge. I've put the link to join for free. It's an absolutely free challenge for 14 days in the show notes, and you can get started as soon as you join. So I'd love to see you in it. And if you're doing it and doing these challenges, I'd love to hear from you and hear how they're doing as well. All right. Thank you for joining us for another week. I hope to see you next week. Be sure to share this with somebody who might be feeling the same way and needs to hear this as well. And if you don't want to miss an episode, be sure to hit subscribe or follow on whatever platform you're listening or watching this on as well. All right, we'll see you next week.